Hello viewers, welcome to a new week. I am Coach Raphael. In what many have called one of the toughest and most hotly contested political races in recent times, the battle for the governorship seat of Anambra State is heating up. With political giants throwing their hats into the ring, the 2025 elections are shaping up to be more than just a contest. They are becoming a fight for the soul of the state. Among the notable names jostling for the top seat is Dr. George Moghalu, the Labour Party's candidate whose calm demeanor hides a burning passion to restore what he describes as a lost sense of direction in Anambra's leadership. Diaspora Digital Media traveled to the Newi in Newi North local government area of Anambra State to meet with Dr. Moghalu for an exclusive one-on-one interview. At his modest yet tastefully arranged residence, the governorship candidate opened up on his personal journey, political aspirations, and his plans for a new Anambra. Dr. George Moghalu is no newcomer to politics or public service. With decades of experience, both in the private and public sectors, he has earned a reputation as a disciplined administrator and principled politician. He has served in various capacities at the federal level, including a notable stint as the managing director of the Nigerian Inland Waterways Authority, where he was lauded for driving reform and improving efficiency. His foray into politics, he explained, was driven by a lifelong commitment to serving the people and creating an impact where it matters most. When asked what inspired his decision to run for the highest political office in the state, Dr. Moghalu was quick to point to a sense of duty. He said he had seen what governance should look like and had also seen what it had become in Anambra State. He noted that Anambra has the resources, the human capital, and the cultural wealth to be a model state in Nigeria, but it is far from that. He believes he can bring that change. Dr. Moghalu firmly believes that his track record speaks for itself. He believes he has served without blemish. He believes he has managed large institutions and delivered results. He believes he has the experience, the vision, and the commitment that this job requires. According to him, what sets him apart is not just his experience, but also his understanding of the grassroots governance and policy implementation. One of the most critical moments of the interview came with Dr. Moghalu addressed the current state of security in Anambra under the administration of Governor Chukwuma Soludo. In particular, he raised concerns about Operation Udogachi, a security outfit established by the state government. In his framing, it is one thing to set up a security group, but without proper training, oversight, and intelligence gathering, it becomes a danger to the very people it is supposed to protect. He alleged that the outfit has been involved in acts of extrajudicial killings and the kidnapping of innocent civilians, acts he attributed to poor training and lack of structured intelligence operations. Furthermore, he criticized the government for neglecting the welfare of security personnel. He stated that when you underpay and ignore the well-being of security operatives, you invite corruption and abuse of power. On the issue of education, Dr. Moghalu acknowledged the current government's policy of free basic education, but argued that it wasn't enough. According to him, Anambra is wealthy, very wealthy. It can sustain more. It cannot stop at basic education. It needs to extend this benefit to higher education levels as young people deserve better. Moreover, Dr. Moghalu was visibly disturbed by the reported use of force in the collection of taxes across the state. He condemned the approach as archaic and counterproductive. He said you don't need to beat people into paying taxes. You educate them, make them see the value they are getting in return, and then they will pay willingly. He proposed the use of technology and modernize the tax collection process and ensure transparency and accountability. Now, as you have known about his candidacy and plans, I invite you to watch the full video of the interview to see firsthand Dr. Moghalu's passion and commitment to making Anambra a better place for all. Stay tuned. Diaspora digital media, the media and all kinds. So, everything, thank you for giving us this warm reception. You have just come to know who you are and your policies, your views about governance in Anambra State. So let's start immediately by first of all asking you, who is Dr. George Moghalu?
Simply put, Dr. George Moghalu is just an ordinary woman. But I understand you want to have a little bit of my background.
Exactly.
Okay, George Moghalu is from, this is my village where you are now. I'm from Newu, Urabu Newu to be precise. Born on the 10th of December 1962. Went to primary school in Aba. Used to be Santa Maria Primary School, but now it's called Constitution Christian Primary School. Eventually, I went to Tonga High School in Aba, where I graduated the Division 1, and then went to IMT and where I studied Fine and Applied Arts. Went to University of Abuja for my master's. But as we speak now, I'm writing my thesis, my PhD, and I'm also in 4th year of the Nile University reading law. So basically speaking, that is who I am from the academic perspective. Then from public service, I had held very many responsible offices. By 1991-92, I was Director General Bureau of Cooperatives and Rural Development in Anambra State. And later I became Permanent Secretary by virtue of Decree 45 that made Director Generals Permanent Secretaries. So I was there until the military came, and then we left. I went back to my private practice. I'm a registered practitioner of advertising, so I started consulting for some companies. I consulted for Abia Palm, Ada Palm. I also consulted for Golden Guinea Breweries Limited. I worked for them, PLC rather. I worked for West African Glass in Port Harcourt. I did some work for them. I did some work for Element Petrochemicals in Port Harcourt. I did some work for National Fertilizer Company of Nigeria, ONE, in Rivers State. I did some work for them. Quite a few other organizations that I worked for one way or the other. Then when politics started again, I joined the All People's Party, which is APP. Okay, and I was elected the first national secretary in 1999. I was there until 2003 when I ran for governorship of this state on the platform of the All Nigeria People's Party. That election was eventually won by Mr. Peter Obi, our leader today. Then when the military came back again, we all dispersed. We came back again, and then joined our, before the military came again, we did AMPP, or the military didn't come again. We did AMPP, we continued AMPP after I lost the governorship in 2003. And then by 2007, thereabout, 2008, I was elected the first, or rather, I was elected the national vice chairman of AMPP, responsible for the Southeast. Okay, it was from there that every one of us realizing that the only way to remove PDP from government, which was the ruling party there, was by all of us coming together to fuse our political parties and our structures to form APC, ANPP, which I was then the member secretary of our own committee that was sent for the merger. I happened to coordinate, did the running around, coordinate the secretariat for the formation of APC. Eventually, at our first national convention, I was elected the first national auditor of APC, and by 2017, I was re-elected for a second term. Okay. While I was there serving for my second term, the then president, Muhammadu Buhari, appointed me chairman board of directors of NIGCOMSAT, Nigeria Communication Satellite. I was their chairman of their board for 2 years and thereabout. Then by 1999, the same president magnanimously appointed me the managing director of National Inland Waterways Authority, NIWA, and I served my 4-year term before I left. Then came back again to my private practice, which is what I'm doing today, until October 1st of last year, 2024. I now joined the Labour Party, and thereafter declared my intention to run for governorship on this platform. And as God will have it, on the 5th of April, I was elected as a governorship candidate to Labour Party for the Anambra State 2025 November elections. I'm very happily married by the grace of God, and we are blessed with 5 children, 2 boys and 3 girls. I don't know whether there's anything else you wanted me to say that I didn't say.
Oh, no, I love the way you briefly, put everything in the different perspective. I love the way you have tasted both the corporate and the private. So, but what inspired you? What was your motivation behind venturing into politics?
To be honest with you, it's all about service. It's all about service, changing the narrative. I believe that history will not forgive me that our pastoralist climb was sung. Okay, I want a reference to be made to me as having contributed to the development of mankind. I want to be seen as contributing to the improvement of the living conditions of our people. I want to be identified as one of those who played one role or the other to make sure that life is better for our people. So I'm motivated by my desire to serve our people, to change the narrative, to bring good governance near to the people. Basically, that's it.
Okay, now currently, the government of Soludo, people are hailing its policies, economic policies, its educational policies, and security also. So what do you have differently that people might prefer in what we see currently?
I don't understand really what you mean by hailing, because hailing can be negative.
For example, in terms of education, Soludo getting basic free education for basic level. Then in terms of security, you and I see what he's doing in terms of the recent establishment of the Moghalu. It is doing wonders in terms of that reduced insecurity.
Yes,
then in terms of youth empowerment is 1, 2 skills. So the good governance is present. So what do you have differently that you would like to say, oh, people will now say this man will do better than Soludo?
I don't see where good governance is visible in this state. I rather think that a lot is not being done right. And quite a lot. And I will try to enumerate a few without bringing to the public domain my manifesto that will be formally launched immediately campaign starts. But I'd like to make a few corrections. I would say a lot of things have not been properly done. And when people say that he's doing things, I keep wondering where those things are happening. Let's even start with the least, which is the issue of insecurity. No economy grows in an insecure environment. You must have that at the back of your mind. Because no investor will come when he or she is not safe. You must also have that at the back of your mind. And now, let's look at it from this perspective. What have we been doing as a government for the past 3 years that we have to start doing something 8 months to election? Doesn't that go to show you that it's all about politics? And having said that, you mentioned Udogachi. Is it the same people who are busy now killing the people they are supposed to protect? The other day, a woman was shot dead in a nail here. Because if you take an ammunition and give to an untrained person, what do you expect? More will happen. If you give an ammunition, an automatic rifle, to an untrained person. You see, I have said it and let me repeat it again, that the issue of insecurity in our state has to be addressed both kinetically and non-kinetically for us to be able to achieve the desired objective. When you talk about security, to what extent have you addressed the welfare of the people who are risking their lives to be able to serve you? To what extent? To what extent are you addressing insecurity when you have not invested in intelligence gathering? which I think is prime. You see, I look at their performance like I tried to analyze it on national television. I said, in a room that is pitch dark, if you bring in candle light, there is light. If you bring in 20 watts bulb, there is light. If you bring 40 watts bulb, there's improved light. If you bring 60 watts bulb, there's improved light. And if you bring floodlight, there is greater improvement in your illumination. So it's a matter or a consequence of what level of illumination you are looking for. I am not saying they are idle. I'm not saying they are not doing anything. But a lot more can be done and achieved. And then you think about it, investing in our security infrastructure, and you bring Tokumbo used Sienna vehicles that are breaking down left, right, and center. Even ordinary Edo State the other day, that the governor has not had 100 days, bought brand new pickups, 100 or 200, and put for use. So how many of those vehicles are interconnected with the communication systems? The policemen and women who are risking their lives, the army, the civil defense, risking their lives, serving us, protecting us, to what extent have we provided for their welfare? Do you realize that if a policeman loses his life on duty today, the next day his family is ejected from the barracks? Do you realize that? Why can't you provide insurance coverage that will provide them accommodation for his family for life? Why can't you provide insurance coverage that will take care of his children going to school, even if he's not there? Because he died on duty. He died doing what you cannot do or what you are not doing for you. So there's quite a lot that should be done that is not being done. Then you talk about our education. Yes, there's a free education at the lowest rung of the ladder. What happens with the upper level? Why can't we sustain it? Because the resources is there. It's about management of the resources. We should be in a position to create enabling environment. You see, the average Anambra man is independent-minded. The average Anambra man is ready to work hard. The average Anambra man is ready to invest. What is lacking is that the government should create the enabling environment for industry to thrive. And you can't do this in an insecure environment. You can't do this in an environment that the infrastructure is totally collapsed. Why can't states? Thank God the federal government has given authority for states to invest in power infrastructure. We can do it. Is using hammer and akodo, like how people call it, using it to collect tax. Is it modern? What is beautiful about it? How do you assess such performance in the era of technology? I will collect tax, but I won't use akodo. I will collect tax, I won't use touts. You will create an enabling environment. You can create an enabling environment for the people to willingly pay their tax without being forced to pay. You can make them see it as a responsibility to help you conclude what you have started. I keep saying that the biggest challenge these governments have is that the people have lost confidence in government. They see government as a fraud. They see every politician as dishonest. I want to correct that narrative. You can lead with honesty. You can win back the confidence that the people have lost. You can win it back. And the moment you do it and win back their confidence, they see the government as their own. They see themselves as part of it. In such situation, asking them to pay tax, they will even beg you to pay tax. Because they see their tax working for them. It's not about 8 months to election. You start breaking people's houses and say you're doing roads. What happened for the past 3 years? Where did we keep our security vote for past 3 years? And 8 months to election, we'll bring it out.
Right, sir. I go on to say that you are bringing more investment into intelligence.
Yes,
that will
intelligence gathering. You must invest in it if you want to address security properly.
Okay.
You have to bring in technology.
All right.
You have to bring in technology. This is a technology age. You have to equip them properly. I give you one simple thing. The local vigilante can be properly documented, can be properly trained, can be properly placed, to the extent that even graduates will beg to become members of the vigilante. You shouldn't wait until it is called state police. If you document them properly, train them properly, you come to Newu, you take Newu sons and daughters You come to this our you take our sons and daughters and enroll them into the vigilante. You bring professionals across the country to train them, to prepare them. You document them. You pay them well. You remunerate them well. You give them the equipment. They will enter the streets, and you will address insecurity. And every community, they know the bad boys and the bad girls. Let nobody kid you. And you can identify them by using even the local traditional institutions. Give them their desired respect. Get them involved. Information, you gather it and you work with it.
Right. What are your policies regarding the economy of Anambra State? What will you do to support small businesses?
Quite a lot. You create an enabling environment. You provide resources. You provide guarantees. You invest a lot in agriculture. You can change the narrative of this state by investment in agriculture. We should be able to feed ourselves. You can address the issue of unemployment with agriculture. Anambra North can feed, if not the entire nation, southeastern part of Nigeria. But you can't plant orange and expect apple. If you want apples, you plant apple. If you want orange, you get orange. If you want cows, you get cows and bring them up. If you want goat, you get goat and bring them up. But you can't bring goat and expect cow at the end of the day.
All right. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Now, what made you think that we are the best candidates amongst? I know that there were other aspirants in the Labour Party. So what set you apart?
That question shouldn't go to me. It should go to those who chose us. Because I assessed myself, I felt confident that I have what it takes to win the election. I have what it takes to serve the people, and I presented myself to the Labour. So it was the Labour people that said, okay, of all of you, I think we agree with that man. Let's put our bet on him. So it's not in my position to tell you what separates me. But it is the people who voted that will be in a position to assess us and say, this is why we voted this man. But as for me, I'm very confident that God has called me for a purpose. And my Bible tells me that when God calls, He equips.
Are you confident you're going to win the election?
By the grace of God, yes.
And if you don't win, will you continue to contest?
To God be the glory. What you are trying to do is for me to predict tomorrow. And I'm neither a clairvoyant, I'm neither a native doctor or a soothsayer.
Yeah, just one question from me, sir.
Right.
Yeah, some days ago, Mr. President visited Anambra State, and based on his body language and some promises, do you think that will boost the chances of Soludo to win the election?
Why would I procrastinate? The president came on official visit to the state. He was invited by the government. The truth about it, which I keep telling people, when some people raise concerns about the question you asked, I said, His Excellency Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, is the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Anambra is inclusive. As we speak today, His Excellency Charles Chukwuma Soludo, CFR, is the Governor of Anambra State. You can't remove anything from these two basic facts. And that the President visited Anambra in the course of his official engagement is allowed by law, is protected by law. For the Governor to invite the President, that is the right thing to do. For what the President came to do, whether it is worth the while, that is for the President to answer, and that is for the Governor who invited him to answer. But for me, I don't waste my time reading body language. When we get to the bridge, we'll cross it. Election is just 6 months away, November 8th, and the Anambra people will speak. And Soludo will be assessed based on his promises, which included turning us to Dubai, Taiwan, which we are yet to see.
What do you think about the Solution Fund City? It's not part of Dubai, Taiwan, the roads and it's constructed.
So the only thing we have to offer Anambra people, after 2 years of supposed constructive engagement, is one city.
Not just it's good construction.
I feel so embarrassed that.
No, I mean that Soludo is not doing anything.
How can I say he's not doing anything? He's doing something. Even destroying road is something.
But not to say that government is a country.
Correct.
Yeah.
You have answered the question. You have answered the question you asked me.
The most important thing is that he is doing something.
Good.
When he leaves up, the government.
I said it point blank that the governor is doing something, and I tried to use the analogy of a room that is thick dark. If you bring in candlelight, there is light. You can see your way as you go out. If you bring floodlight, there's also light. The question now lies back to you. What level of illumination are you looking for? Very bright or very small light? It is for me and you to make the assessment. If what we have in our report card to present to the Anambra after 2 years is Fun City, to God be the glory.
All right, thank you very much.
So that we can have plenty of fun. We'll have plenty of fun. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And we believe that
As Dr. George Moghalu steps into the ring for the Anambra governorship race, he is set to face formidable opponents. Governor Chukwuma Soludo, the incumbent, leads a state controlled by the All Progressive Grand Alliance APGA for nearly 2 decades, with an extensive record of infrastructural projects and initiatives that have transformed the state. Additionally, Moghalu will go head-to-head with Nicholas Okachukwu, the candidate from the All Progressives Congress, the APC, whose party holds the reins of power in Abuja. With such heavyweight contenders, the race is bound to be a fierce battle for the soul of Anambra. It's clear that the stage is set for the showdown, one that could redefine the future of the Anambra State. You're watching Diaspora Digital Media. For more on this, do not hesitate to hit the like button, make your comments, share this video, and then subscribe to our YouTube channel. I am Tochukwu Raphael. See you next time. Bye-bye.